It's going into 14 minutes.
Well, now, which version of OpenMP are you asking this for?
Well, you'll find out. So, let me get started. Does that work? Oh, magic.
Beautiful.
All right, great. So first of all, as you can see, there's no affiliation on this slide. I am at Oracle, but this is purely on personal basis. And since I don't want to be recognized after this talk, I'll put up my special glasses so that I can get out of this room alive.
Who are you?
I don't know. I know. I'm in an identity crisis, as you'll find out very soon. So, but actually, this is not very comfortable. So, I'm going to talk about a new programming model, a proposal for a new programming model. So, a very valid question is, why do we need something new? Well, I think they all fail. So, modest as I am, and that's my claim. So, why do I think they all fail? Well, first of all, we can never get that ultimate performance today. There's always something missing. And we have to be prepared for the worst case. So I would like to count on having 1 billion threads and still be able to deal with that because, yeah, you better be prepared for the future. And everybody and everything is unique. They're all different. Every application is different. Every developer is different. And none of these models, they deal with that. So we need to support that, and we need something different and obviously something better for that. So, yeah, why be modest? So I came up with the world's only unified new development. That's the long version of Wound. And obviously that's open source. So what I'm going to announce today is Open Wound. That is my new programming model. And I'll just give you a quick rundown, and I don't want to go into details, partially because I don't know them yet, and partially because we don't have time. So, first of all, Open Wound has 4 components. There's obviously a language definition. There's obviously a runtime system, so you can run things and do all the things you like to do. You need to have some sort of a development environment, and tools. So I'll talk about all of these. Again, I'll just briefly touch upon them. So what are the goals? Again, why be modest, as you'll see in this list? First of all, we want to go for extreme scalability. I just gave you a target number, 1 billion threads. That should do for a while. The model has to be extremely powerful. We'll always guarantee optimal performance. My goal is to put Marty Itzkovitz in this room here out of business, so we don't need his profiler anymore. You just always get the right performance, so you're done. So we don't need tools anymore. Obviously, there has to be high level as well. The language has to be explicit. And we want to have total control over everything. We really want to go as far as we can go.
So, Ruud, I got to interject. I didn't realize that, well, so, where are you from again?
You can't really tell who he is.
No, I mean, geographically. And I was just thinking about how Denver, Colorado recently had an initiative last November that passed. Have you been availing yourself of this?
No. I can, although I'm not originally from the US, I can say a lot about politics in general, but that's a different BoF, I think. So I'll take off my glasses because I'm not representing the company. All right. One of the things is I want to be able to deal with uncertainty because often when you develop a code, you don't know everything for sure, so I want to be able to deal with that. And of course, whatever the programming model provides should be trivial to understand. So there we go. These are the goals, again. Why be modest? So what's wrong with this kind of syntax? That's the traditional pragma-based model, for example, pragma OMP, and you have some action, parallel or barrier, whatever. That's very binary when you think about it. That's parallel or not parallel. In real life, things are different, as we all always struggle with uncertainty. So what I came up with is, in my model, I want to support confidence levels. So that will give you the freedom to ask for help from the system while you maintain full control. And that's one of the things that this makes this programming model fairly unique. We add a second dimension, that's the confidence level in addition to the action. So what do I mean with that? Well, first of all, before I go into that, I should explain how you define the parallelism. It's very easy. You open the wound by pragma wound open, and then you close the wound and you're done. All right? And the confidence levels currently supported are always, maybe, sometimes, depends, and not to preserve sequential semantics, because that's really very important. Now, one of the key features, and you'll see that kind of highlighted on my slides, is the differentiator here. Obviously, you can combine the confidence levels. And that's where the power of this language comes into really shine. So I can say pragma wound maybe sometimes, maybe sometimes not, depends sometimes, or depends not. Not always depends. So in that way, I can really tell the system, like, I'm not so sure, you figure it out. All right? Unfortunately, we only limit this to 5 levels mixing, but we're going to address that because 5 is actually very low for this. So, actually, what follows next, I must give credit to those that deserve it. What follows next on the next few slides is driven by some beautiful constructs from OpenMP 4.0, like this one. Aligned linear SIMD-len in branch. I love it. So I like it so much that I wanted to kind of steal that idea and put that into my programming model. That's part of a different thing. That's the NERD control. NERD stands for non-exploit rapid decision. And it really marries full control with ease of code development. So initially, I'll give you support for the superscalar level you want to have, the pipelining scheduling order, the preferred number of instructions, the number of cache misses allowed, either the target and the maximum. So here's a simple example. I want to have 3-way superscalar. I want to use 3 pipeline units, EX0, FPU1, and EX1. Those are, the X are the integer units. I want you to generate 12 instructions because I know that's the best number. Cache misses, my target is 0 cache misses, but I'm willing to put up with a fairly high number of misses and I'm still satisfied. So, but again, the power is in the confidence levels, so those are fully supported. So on the same thing, I can say, I don't want you to use EX0. Sometimes I want to have 12 instructions, and I don't want you to have 0 cache misses. So I can exactly express what I want. And again, that's part of the NERD part of the pragma system. Of course, there's a runtime system that's called HURT. HURT stands for Hybrid Unified Runtime, and that's the runtime system. It's extremely powerful and easy to use, but of course, you're on your own. When you make a mistake, you're doomed. All right. And obviously, we have environment variables. For example, these are just some examples to say it's fine. You say, go ahead, yes or no. You can have the hurt wound. That's an indication to the runtime system that you want to run it always or sometimes or never. And the same is true for NERD, where you give a confidence level and a target. So in this example, I want to activate the instruction, but not the pipeline part of the optimization. Finally, of course, I need to have a development system. So my debugger is called TIERS. TIERS stands for Totally Expressive Advanced Relational System, and that's my symbolic debugger. And I have a little example to make it more specific. So I'll say stop if perhaps not always, and it will tell me it stopped. Okay, so that's bad news. The debugger found that fatal error condition. The tiers are stored in a part called handkerchief, and I can print it, and it tells me it found an inconsistency. And it tells me then there was a conflict with maybe depends. So that clearly explains it all to me, and I can debug my code. Finally, there's a SDK, a software development kit, that's called Band-Aid. It consists of 2 components. There's the BAND, which stands for Brave and Naive Developer. And there's the AID, which is architecturally independent dependencies. And again, that's my runtime system. finally, although I don't believe that's necessary, I think this system is going to be so good that we don't need any documentation, but some other people suggested that we should have that. So we're going to start a community documentation project that connects it all together. We don't like the concept of page count. That's so obsolete. So we're going to use staples. And that's going to connect everything together in our documentation system. I've been talking a lot about concepts and ideas, so I thought I'll give you a simple example, but in interest of time, I won't be able to go through all the gory details. Here's my sequential code, a loop, and 2 function calls in it. So how would I tackle that with Nerd? And I hope you'll agree that this is really easy to do. So that's what my code looks like. Again, I don't go into all the details. I open the wound in the end. I sometimes close it because I'm not sure whether I want to end the parallelism there. Remember the confidence levels. Here you see the power at the last line. Wound sometimes close. I have some function call to the herd runtime system and my pragmas. All right. Again, in interest of time, I don't want to be running too late. How about the status? Where are we with this initiative? Well, wound is on ice. Hurt is still being fleshed out. The TS code is trickling in. Band-Aid has been patched. And stitches are actually at 666 staples, and it's growing. We expect to have the public comment phase for April 1st next year. And how about the roadmap? So we're planning 2 more actions for the 1.1 release. And we want to support 200 confidence levels. We think that's probably about right for a while. And we're going to increase hurt at all levels where we can. Yeah. The band has been frozen. 8 is on the cutting table. Tiers has to support those 200 confidence levels because that's our target for the 1.1. And we want to automatically insert staples as part of the Stitches project. So that's the open wound environment. And so I talked a little bit about wound, hurt, nerd, and tiers. Please come and see us in the booth next year in New Orleans. We hope to launch 1.0 there. We have a BoF planned, and stop by our booth for your copy of the 1.0 Band-Aid kit. Thank you very much, and any questions about this model? Thank you.
Thank you. I only have one question. This is such amazing stuff. When can I get this in OpenMP?
Next year.
Next year?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.